Hello. To help you understand how to read the grades in Schoology, which are the most up-to-date, because you will be able to see when things have been submitted, as well as grades and comments from me. In Campus, what you're seeing is a snapshot of what's been graded up a certain point, and that's I either post them on Wednesday or Thursday because our due date is midday on Thursday, and those are our weekly eligibility. We do have the 6-week progress reports, and the final grades will be there as well, so that you can always look back on that. Making sure though that you're changing from the homeschool to Jeffco's 21st Century Virtual Academy in the drop down with the homeschool. So in Spanish, we have 4 different sections for grades. One's assessments, which we can see over here. One's discussions, one's voice activities, and one are practice activities. They're kind of in order of importance, and you can see that they're weighted accordingly. Assessments are basically looking at the overall understanding of new material as well as what has been, she's been able to incorporate in to what has been learned over the years. The discussions is the ability to take what she's learning as well as what she has learned in a discussion format in which there's a give and take. Voice activities is the ability to pronounce in a comprehensible way, as well as to provide information and opportunity to practice with verbal Spanish. Practice activities is where there's a lot of the just practicing vocabulary, practicing grammar. So it's a little more of the nut and bolts, but it's not looking at how is it being used for communication. These top 3 items are looking at is the content being learned for communication purposes, which is really the most important piece of the Spanish course. So even though practice activities is worth 35% overall, there are a lot of different activities in here, which means each individual activity is not worth as much overall. So to see what has been submitted and graded. So when we come in here, oh, also forgot one last thing. At the very top, you can see the overall grade as well as the very, very bottom. So right now, this is the current overall grade. Everything can be improved upon, everything can be redone. That's one of the beautiful things about the online course, is that we're not stuck in a moment in time. That the moment is past, that assignment is done and put away. Here, activities and assignments are meant to be used as tools for learning. Therefore, they're always available, and if more practice is needed, then you can look at, she's able to see what she's submitted and done and where the errors are. And then oftentimes my comments are right in there with what she's done. And so she can immediately use that to help improve, as well as I'm also available. So on this, you can see that something is submitted by looking at the right-hand side of any of the assignments. There are a few, anything that's a chalar, she actually had to communicate with me over, in this case, we did it, I believe, over the phone. Yes, we did. Versus face-to-face, sometimes that is a possibility. As you can see, she did well. That was with me real time. Notice in here in discussions, she can also go back at any time and use my feedback here. And when you see these squares on the left, those are rubrics. And so this has already been graded, so we can actually see what was done. Some of these get very specific, answered in questions. Some of them are like, there's a back and forth, this one right here with the exchange, specifically with peers, that she posts something, somebody asks a question, she responds back, or somebody makes a reply and responds back, and it could be a question that she's asked somebody else. So there are some very specific things in here that are that gives good feedback on how to improve. This may not be a place. However, this grade for the discussions, I think, is an area that could be used to improve. Here's one where it's like, make sure you return and reply to those who reply to you. So she already has that opportunity, as well as down here, be sure to return and reply to those. Again, these have very easy ways to improve those grades. And so those are the rubrics. And on the right, you can see where she has submitted. This is a test or quiz type activity. It's an assessment, so this was an exam. This shows that this is a discussion where it looks like a dialogue box. When it's a document that has been submitted, it's this is what shows. So this one was a voice activity. As you can see, she's not afraid to use her voice, which is awesome. To get into internal comments, you can click on this, and then when I click on it, you're going to see everybody, so I'm actually not going to click on it, but you click on this, and then you go to view the submission, and then you can scroll down and you can see my comments directly on the questions themselves. And you can also see how many times she attempted the one assignment. This one, because it was a 9.5 out of 10, I know for a fact that she has gone back in and done something at 10 out of 10 without a doubt, because I rarely, well, most likely she did. I rarely put comments in there if they've earned a perfect score on something, but occasionally there is something. So basically you can see that all of these have been submitted. Now notice there are no icons next to these three because they're missing. And so I have labeled them as such, missing, so they're more than a week behind. You can see due dates over here. This is our catch-up week right now, so some of these do not have that in there yet. So this is what you'll need to be working on. To find where this information is, as she's moving forward, she's not able just to click right on and then go right into the content, but I use like a letter number code to know where things are located. So the U is for the unit, the number is the number of that unit. S is for the session or section. Then the 2 in this case would be the second session or second section. And then the number after that means this one's a 7. So there's actually 7 different assignments in there. And these are short. This one has a lot in it, but they're really short, simple assignments. They just happen to be encouraged to do them. So that's why I added a grade to them. So you'll notice that others are not. Some of them, the section is 2 weeks long because she read a book or needs to be reading the book and working on these as she goes. So I'm not sure where she is on reading the book yet. So I hope that this is helpful on how to read the grades in Schoology and how to communicate with your kiddo. And let me know if you have any other questions, okay? Thanks.